Some decisions don't look dangerous in the beginning. They look simple, practical, necessary. For Anita, it was just a signature, a way out, a second chance, a better life. But what she didn't realize was this. Some agreements don't just change your situation, they change everything. This is the visa marriage that went too far. The email came in at exactly 2:17 a.m. Anita didn't need to open it to know what it said. She had seen too many like it. Still, she clicked. "We regret to inform you." She stared at the screen, unmoving. Another rejection. Another closed door. Her laptop light reflected in her eyes as she slowly leaned back in her chair. The room was quiet, too quiet, except for the faint hum of the ceiling fan struggling to spin above her. This wasn't how her life was supposed to look. Not after everything she had worked for. Not after all the sacrifices. She shut the laptop gently. No anger, no tears, just silence. Her phone buzzed on the table. AC. Anita hesitated for a moment, then picked up. "Hey," she said quietly. "You're awake?" AC asked. "I couldn't sleep." A pause. Then AC asked the question Anita had been avoiding. Did they respond? Anita exhaled slowly. "Yes." Another pause. "I'm guessing that's not good news." Anita forced a small smile, even though AC couldn't see it. "It's fine. I'll figure something out." But even she didn't believe that anymore.
Essie didn't respond immediately, and that silence felt different. Heard of contract marriage before? Essie finally asked. Anita frowned. "What?" "A legal arrangement," Essie continued. "Two people get married for immigration purposes." Anita let out a short laugh. "That's not real life, Essie." But Essie didn't laugh. "I'm serious." Anita sat up slightly. "You mean marry someone I don't know?" "It happens more than you think," Essie said calmly. "There are agencies. It's controlled, legal, if done right." Anita shook her head, even though no one could see her. "No, that's risky." "Staying here isn't," Essie replied. That hit harder than expected. Anita didn't answer, because deep down, she knew Essie wasn't wrong. That night, Anita didn't sleep. She sat by the window, watching the empty street below, thinking, replaying every rejection, every delay, every plan that never worked out. By morning, the fear hadn't disappeared, but something else had taken its place. Desperation. Her phone rested in her hand. Essie's last message still open. "If you are serious, I can connect you." Anita stared at it for a long time. Then finally, she typed, "Let's talk." She didn't smile. She didn't celebrate, because something in her chest felt heavy. Like she had just stepped into something she didn't fully understand. 2 days later, Anita sat in front of her laptop again. But this time, it wasn't a school. It wasn't an opportunity. It was a man. Foreign. Calm. Watching her through the screen. Waiting. Her future, sitting on the other side of a video call. And for the first time, Anita realized this wasn't just an idea anymore. This was real. The screen flickered once before his face appeared. Clear, still, unreadable. "Hello, Anita." His voice was calm, controlled. Not warm, not cold, just precise. Anita straightened slightly in her seat. "Hello." There was a brief silence, not awkward, just measured, like he was studying her. "I'm Daniel Whitmore," he said. "I know," Anita replied softly. Another pause. Then he leaned back slightly. "This arrangement is straightforward. No confusion, no emotional expectations." Anita nodded, even though her chest felt tight. "We marry legally. You relocate to Canada. We present as a couple when necessary." Necessary. The word felt heavier than it should. "And boundaries?" Anita asked carefully. Daniel didn't hesitate. No intimacy, no personal interference, no complications. His eyes held hers through the screen. "This is business." The contract arrived the same night. Pages of conditions, timelines, expectations, 2-year agreement, monthly financial support, shared residence in Canada, public appearances as husband and wife. Anita read every word slowly, then read it again. It didn't feel like a marriage. It felt like a transaction. Her fingers hovered over the last page, signature line waiting, her name already typed. For a moment, she hesitated, because once she signed this, there would be no going back. "Are you sure about this?" Essie's voice was quieter this time, more serious. Anita looked down at the document in front of her. No, she admitted, that was the truth. But certainty wasn't what she had. It was pressure, time, and a future slipping further away. "I don't have many options," Anita added. Essie didn't argue because she understood. Anita picked up the pen, paused, then signed. Just like that, it was done. Toronto was colder than Anita expected. The air hit differently, sharper and forgiving. She stepped out of the airport, her fingers tightening slightly around her suitcase handle. Everything felt unfamiliar. The people, the silence, even the sky looked different. Then she saw him, standing a few steps away. Daniel, exactly the same as on screen. Calm, composed, distant. He gave a small nod as she approached. "Welcome to Canada." No smile, no warmth, just acknowledgement. For a second, Anita wasn't sure what to do. Then she nodded back. "Thank you." And just like that, they turned and walked toward the car, together, but not close. That night, Anita stood inside his apartment. No, their apartment. The space was clean, organized, quiet. Too quiet. Daniel placed a set of keys on the table. "Your room is down the hall," he said. "Room, not our room." Anita nodded slowly. "Thank you." He paused for a moment, then added, "We stick to the agreement. That's important." Anita met his eyes. "I understand." But as she walked toward her room, something didn't feel right, because this wasn't just a place. It wasn't just an arrangement. It was a life she had just stepped into, with a man who felt like a stranger, and a marriage that felt nothing like one. Mornings were quiet. Too quiet. Anita woke up to the soft hum of the heater and the unfamiliar stillness of the apartment. No voices, no laughter, no warmth, just silence. She stepped into the kitchen carefully. Daniel was already there, coffee in hand, phone in the other. He glanced up briefly. "Morning." "Morning," she replied. That was it. No conversation, no questions, just two people sharing a space, but living completely separate lives. Days passed, and the rules became routine. They didn't eat together, didn't sit together, didn't ask personal questions. If someone called, they switched instantly, voices softer, tone warmer. "Hi, yes, everything's great," Anika will say. "Yes, we are doing well," Daniel would add. Perfect, convincing, a happy couple. But the moment the call ended,
silence returned, like nothing was real. The first outing came unexpectedly. "Dinner," Daniel said one evening. "My colleague invited us." Us. The word felt unfamiliar. Anita hesitated. "Do we have to?" Daniel looked at her directly. Yes. No explanation, just expectation. The restaurant was warm, lively, completely different from the cool distance at home. Anita stayed close to Daniel as they walked in. Too close, because for the first time, she had to act like his wife. "Daniel," his colleague greeted, smiling, "and this must be Anita." Anita forced a polite smile. "Yes, nice to meet you." Then suddenly, Daniel's hand touched her back. Light, brief, but intentional. And just like that, the performance began. Throughout dinner, everything felt different. Daniel talked more, smiled more, even looked at her differently. Not cold, not distant, almost real. At one point, he leaned slightly closer. "Relax," he murmured quietly. "You're doing fine." The words were simple, but something about them stayed with her, because for a moment, it didn't feel like acting. That night, back at the apartment, the silence returned, just like before, like the version of him at the restaurant never existed. Anita stood in the hallway for a moment, confused because she had seen something different, something real, and now she couldn't ignore it. From his room, Daniel's door closed quietly, and Anita realized something she hadn't expected. The hardest part of this arrangement wasn't the line, it was the moments that felt true. It wasn't planned. That's what made it dangerous. Daniel came home later than usual, tired, looser than usual. He placed his keys down and paused when he saw Anita in the kitchen. "You're still up?" "I couldn't sleep," she replied. A brief silence. Then, "I ordered food. There's extra if you want." That was new. Anita hesitated, then nodded. Okay. They sat at the same table for the first time. No phones, no distance, just presence. At first, their conversation was small, safe. Work, weather, nothing personal. Then Daniel spoke again. "You regret it?" Anita looked up. "What?" "This," he said. "The arrangement." She didn't answer immediately because the truth wasn't simple. "Sometimes," she admitted. Daniel nodded slowly. "I get that." That was the first honest conversation they had ever had. One drink turned into two, then three. Not reckless, just enough to lower the walls they had both built. The conversation changed, deeper now, less guarded. Daniel talked about his past, briefly, carefully, a failed marriage, trust that didn't last. Anita listened quietly, then found herself speaking too, about the pressure, the expectations, the fear of being stuck. They weren't acting anymore. They were just two people tired of pretending. The room felt different now, quieter, closer. Anita stood up slowly. "I should sleep," she said, but she didn't move. Daniel looked at her, not like before, not distant, not cold, just present. For a moment, no one spoke, no rules, no contract, no pretending, just silence and something unspoken between them. That's when it happened. Not rushed, not planned, just one step closer, and then they crossed the line they promised never to cross. The next morning, the light felt too bright, too real. Anita opened her eyes slowly and froze. The memories came back at once. The conversation, the closeness, the moment everything changed. She sat up quickly, her heart racing. This wasn't supposed to happen. This was never part of the agreement. Across the room, Daniel moved slightly, awake. Their eyes met. No words, no explanation, just one heavy truth between them. They had broken the only rule that mattered.
Anita didn't speak. She moved carefully around the apartment, avoiding eye contact, avoiding questions, avoiding him. The memory of the night before lingered in everything. The space felt smaller, heavier, like the walls themselves knew. Daniel was already in the kitchen when she walked in. Coffee, same routine, but something was different. Morning, he said. Normal. Too normal. Anita forced a response. Morning. And just like that, silence again. They both acted like nothing had happened. No mention of the night. No questions. No acknowledgement. It was easier that way. Safer. Anita focused on small things. Washing dishes that were already clean, checking her phone repeatedly, anything to avoid thinking. But her mind wouldn't stay quiet, because deep down, she knew ignoring it wouldn't erase it. Later that evening, Daniel finally spoke. We should talk. Anita's chest tightened slightly, but she nodded. About last night, he continued. There it was, out in the open, but still unfinished. Anita looked at him, waiting. Daniel exhaled slowly. It shouldn't have happened. The words were calm, controlled, but they landed heavily. Anita nodded once. I know. A pause, longer this time. Then he added, it won't happen again. Final, clear, like he was restoring the rules, rebuilding the wall. Anita forced herself to agree. Of course, but something about that answer didn't sit right with her. That night, everything went back to normal, or at least what looked like normal. Separate rooms, minimal conversation, no eye contact. But it wasn't the same, because now they knew what was on the other side of those rules, and pretending it didn't exist only made it harder. Days passed, and Anita tried to move on, tried to forget, tried to convince herself it meant nothing. But her body felt different, subtle, easy to ignore at first. She stood in the bathroom one morning, staring at herself in the mirror. Something wasn't right, not yet clear, not yet real, but enough to make her pause. Her hand rested lightly against the sink. Her reflection looked back at her, uncertain, confused, and slowly a quiet thought began to form in her mind. One night, one mistake, and now something doesn't feel right. In episode 2, Anita discovers the truth she wasn't ready for. Like if you want the next episode. Subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. Comment, do you think she already knows, or is she still in denial?